We start off this week's Monday Night Raw for Monday, June 16th, 2025, with Corey Graves and Michael Cole on commentary. If you're wondering about Pat McAfee, he is at the Indiana Pacers, Oklahoma City, Game 5. Starting off, inside the arena, the theme hits for Liv Morgan, and she is accompanied by the Intercontinental Champion, Dirty Dom Mysterio. Liv welcomes us to Monday Night Morgan and introduces us to the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, Dirty Dominik Mysterio. Dom says tonight is all about Liv. Liv talks about how she took out Nikki Bella last week, and she paved her own way to be a 4-time women's tag team champion. Better than that, she's also what she considers to be the greatest women's tag team champion of all time. She demands respect. She also demands the rematch she never got for the Women's Championship. On that note, the beautiful World Heavyweight Women's Champion Io Sky's theme hits. Sky settles in the ring and tells Morgan to do everybody a favor and quit running her mouth. Morgan tells Sky to just hand her the title. Sky asks the crowd if that's what she should do. Dom tells her he does whatever Liv wants every day. Io pretends like she is going to agree. She says okay, then tosses Liv the title, only to leap and drop kick her down to the mat. She then whacks her with a roundhouse kick to the dome. As Dom is kneeling down to check on him, she blasts Dirty Dom with a kick too. Next, we have a first round matchup, WWE Queen of the Ring. We have Stephanie Vaquer versus Ivy Nile versus the returning Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, versus the one half of the women's tag team champions, Raquel Rodriguez. We start off the match with Asuka getting cheered. Welcome back as Asuka and Vaquer lock up. Vaquer takes her down for a 1 count. Asuka then takes her down for a 1 count. Nile attacks Vaquer and tries to roll Rodriguez up, but Rodriguez swats her away. Rodriguez then launches Vaquer with a release powerbomb into Asuka and Nile. Vaquer hits a head scissor into a roll-up for a 1-2 kickout. Vaquer hits Nile with a snap suplex before hitting Rodriguez with a eat defeat. Asuka runs in, but Vaquer kicks her back. Vaquer hits Rodriguez with a running Meteora in the corner. Asuka goes to boot Vaquer back, but Vaquer catches her and hits a dragon screw off the ropes. Vaquer then takes Nile down with a back suplex before grabbing her by the hair. The crowd comes to their feet as Vaquer hits Nile with the Devil's Kiss. Rodriguez breaks it up with a kick to the ribs. Vaquer gets out of a vertical suplex from Rodriguez and hits a snapmare. Vaquer then attempts the Devil's Kiss on Rodriguez, but Rodriguez is too strong as she powers her up on her shoulders and big boots Asuka down. Vaquer manages to pull Rodriguez over the top rope before powering her onto the apron and doing the devil's kiss. Vaquer follows up with a springboard crossbody block on Rodriguez. Asuka grabs Vaquer for her famous Asuka lock, but Vaquer backs her to the corner. Nile runs over and kicks Vaquer in the face before attacking Asuka in the corner. Nile sends Asuka into the ropes, but she lowers her head and eats a kick. Asuka hits Rodriguez with her famous hip attack to knock her off the apron. Nile quickly rolls up Asuka for a 1-2 kick out. Nile follows up with a bridging German suplex for another 2 count on the Empress of Tomorrow. We return to see a Tower of Doom spot. Rodriguez has Nile and Vaquer on her shoulders, and Asuka takes them all out with a missile dropkick. Asuka goes back and forth, kicking away at Vaquer and Nile. Asuka kicks Nile's head before attacking Rodriguez with slaps and kicks. Asuka kicks Rodriguez down in the corner before grabbing Nile. Asuka knees Nile in the face and covers, but Vaquer pulls Asuka off. Vaquer and Asuka locks eyes, and the crowd starts to buzz as they are teasing a match between the two, a dream match. Vaquer forearms Asuka before having a whip reversed. Asuka absorbs a shoulder tackle. They trade strikes and Asuka isn't hurt by them. Vaquer headbutts away at Asuka and hits the ropes before Asuka follows her in and elbows her. Asuka hits the ropes, but Vaquer follows her up with a knee to the midsection. Vaquer connects with a vertical suplex on Asuka and sizes her up. Asuka charges, but Vaquer rolls away and hits a dropkick. Vaquer connects with a double underhook gutbuster. Vaquer's knee is hurt, so she takes a minute to hold it before covering. Nile breaks it up the pin and knocks Vaquer away. Nile slams Asuka and covers, but Vaquer breaks it up. Vaquer sets up for an SVB, but Nile fights it. Vaquer kicks Nile out of the ring. Rodriguez boots Vaquer down and connects with a Tejana bomb. Rhea Ripley, who was at ringside, pulls Rodriguez out the ring, waves at her, and hits a riptide on the side of the ring to the floor. Asuka hits her Empress Impact for the 1, 2, 3, and your winner in advancing to the second round of the Queen of the Ring tournament, Asuka. After the win, she is interviewed live by Kathy Kelly in her first match back in months. She talks about the fire that didn't die while she was gone. It's still burning strong. With the win, the Empress of Tomorrow advances to face Alexa Bliss in the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring tournament on Friday Night SmackDown. Next, we have Goldberg returning and confronting Gunther. Gunther was posing with the title as pyrotechnics going off. The crowd boos the new champion, but Gunther smiles. Gunther says he's man enough to admit, for one night, main event Jeyuso was the better man at WrestleMania. On every other night, Gunther is untouchable. Gunther has heard the chatter about what's next for him. A Goldberg chant picks up. Gunther says he learned his lesson about cussing Goldberg out in front of his family. Gunther doesn't care about rumors. The reality is, he's focused on Mr. Money in the Bank, Seth freaking Rollins. Gunther has what Rollins wants. A few weeks ago, Rollins told him that he's a target when he wins back his World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther says he'll make it easy for Rollins. He is right here. Then we have the return of WWE Hall of Famer Bill Goldberg as he comes and confronts the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Gunther. Goldberg says he started something with Goldberg's family that hasn't been resolved. He then told Gunther that it happened in his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, and that's where he's gonna deal with it at WWE Saturday Night Main Event on July 12th. Gunther is next. Next, we have a little bit of a bummer. The ring general Gunther and Goldberg got confirmed for Saturday night's main event. This is what bothers me about WWE. Don't get me wrong, Goldberg is a big draw for the company with his nostalgia. He isn't the same guy that he used to be. But a WWE Hall of Famer can just waltz in, demand something, and he gets it. No build up, just I want you next, and bam, no contract, signing or nothing, letting it play out. It's just, okay, it's official. I don't know if that bothers anybody else, but that bothers me personally. Next, we have our second match of the night. JD McDonagh versus the phenomenal AJ Styles. We hear AJ coming out to the ring, and it's official. It starts out. Styles backs McDonagh into the corner. McDonagh pulls AJ Styles' hair and turns him around. Styles quickly hits a headlock takeover. McDonagh fights up and puts Styles in a side headlock. Styles whips him off, but McDonagh shoulder tackles him. Styles quickly takes him down and applies a headlock. McDonagh fights up and whips him off, but Styles hits a sunset flip for a 2 count. They trade pins before Styles hits an arm drag. McDonagh applies a head scissor, but Styles flips out. They bridge up into a backslide, but Styles attempts the Styles Clash, and McDonagh scurries away. As the action continues, McDonagh quickly turns Styles around and stomps him before taunting the crowd. McDonagh chops Styles before sending him into the ropes for a hip toss attempt. Styles counters into one of his signature moves, the calf crusher. McDonagh tries to get to the ropes, but Styles rolls him into the ring. Dom Mysterio, who's on the outside, quickly pulls Styles out of the ring. Styles chases Mysterio around the ring. McDonagh then dives over the barricade and clotheslines Styles down. As the show returns, we see McDonagh messing with Styles' hair again, striking Styles down. McDonagh stands on the hair and pulls Styles up. Styles soon fights back and connects with a vicious strike combo, followed by a basement flying forearm. Styles hits a corner clothesline, followed by an ushigoroshi for a 1-2 kickout for a near fall. Styles sets up the Styles Clash for a second time, but McDonagh gets out and headbutts him. McDonagh connects with a brainbuster for a 1-2 kickout. McDonagh gets Styles into the corner and puts him on the top rope. McDonagh starts to climb the ropes, but Styles punches him down. McDonagh stuns him with a huge right hand and climbs, but Styles knocks him down again. Styles positions himself before leaping down to go after Mysterio, who was on the apron. McDonagh sets up for a slam, but Styles gets out of it. Styles goes for the Styles Clash for a third time and connects and points at Dominik Mysterio as he gets to 1, 2, 3, and your winner of the match is the phenomenal AJ Styles. Once the match wraps up, Mysterio runs in to hit Styles with the belt, but Styles moves. Styles hits an overhead kick and sets up for a phenomenal forearm, but Finn Balor runs down to save Mysterio. Styles picks up the Intercontinental title and poses with it. The Judgment Day charge the ring, but Styles escapes. Bayley announces that she wants Becky Lynch to get out here, and Big Time Bex, the man, comes out wearing a Chicago Bears themed outfit. They are in Green Bay, and the fans let Becky have it that the Bears still suck. Becky says they're the same, except Bayley accepts being a second fiddle, and she doesn't. Bayley doesn't mind fighting for the people. Becky used to do that, and they stopped fighting for her. Bayley tries to remind Becky about what it is like to fight for opportunities. Becky doesn't, and asks Bayley if she remembers what the gold feels like. Bayley takes a shot, and Becky begs off. Bayley decks Becky, who flees from the ring, grabbing her women's Intercontinental title and retreating to the back as Bayley stands tall for tonight. And their match for the IC title between Becky and Bayley is set for next week in my hometown, Ohio. Next, we have Kyrie Sane versus one half of the women's tag team champions, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan makes her way out for the second time this evening, and they both square up, and Kyrie quickly takes Liv down with a dragon screw. Morgan immediately gets out of the ring and grabs her shoulder in pain. The ringside doctor checks on Morgan. When we return, the match is no longer in the ring. Footage is shown of Morgan being helped to the back. And the winner of the match by stoppage is Kyrie Sane. We get an update from Michael Cole and Corey Graves on Liv Morgan. Liv is going to be out from anywhere between 12 to 16 weeks with a dislocated shoulder. Liv has been on top of her game the past year and a half, maybe 2 years. She's worked hard to where she is. If this is a real injury, wow, what a bad time. it also could be just some time away for Liv to do other projects besides WWE. Prayers for her if it's a real injury. If not, we will see her when she gets back. She is one of the most talented females WWE has. Here's a infographic confirming that Dirty Dom Mysterio at Night of Champions is made official. Will defend it against the phenomenal AJ Styles. I think Dirty Dom will retain. I'd love to see AJ Styles get some more gold, but unfortunately Dirty Dom is just too hot. So I think it doesn't really make sense to take the title off of Dirty Dom right now, even though AJ is just one of my favorite wrestlers. So this is official for Saturday, June 28th at 1 o'clock in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods teased that they're going to defend their World Tag Team Championships soon, but not against anybody in the tag team division right now. Nobody has proved themselves worthy, but there is a lot of chatter that Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods will defend the tag team titles against the Usos. So for now, it's just a rumor. We will see if they will once again meet with their longtime rivals, Jimmy and Jay. And next week on Raw, we have a Women's Intercontinental Championship match with Big Time Bex going against Bayley for the title. Next, we have Sami Zayn backstage talking about the World Championship, and he has an opportunity to get to it with his King of the Ring match against Randy Orton this Friday on SmackDown. It just feels different, and he feels like this is the time he can win it. Karrion Kross walks up and the crowd cheers. Kross says Zayn is an insane person who is repeating the same thing over and over. That's the definition of insanity right there. This Friday, Zayn will face a guy who knows how to win, the Viper, Randy Orton. Zayn will lose while Orton goes on to be a 15-time world champion. Zayn will stay at 0. Zayn thinks Kross is a coward. Kross hides in the shadows and talks in riddles. Kross doesn't fight because maybe he can't back it up. Zayn has lost and had the courage to pick himself up. Can Kross say the same? Zayn is done listening to Kross talk. King of the Ring is priority. The second that he is done, he is going to Adam Pearce, and they'll have a match once and for all. Kross says it's about time. Kross walks off, and an intense backstage segment wraps up there. Next, we have the main event for this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. We have main event Jeyuso versus Bronson Reed versus Sheamus versus Rusev. As we start the match, Bronson Reed goes straight after Sheamus. Rusev takes Jeyuso down. Reed knocks Sheamus out the ring, but Sheamus punches him in the legs as he exits the ring. Reed quickly sends Sheamus into the ring post and the LED barricade. In the ring, Rusev is taking it to jeyuso. Rusev punches Jay's taped ribs. Uso quickly pulls the top rope down to get him out of the ring. Rusev pops up and punches him back. Reed pulls Rusev down. They trade punches at the ringside. Rusev then reverses a whip into the steel steps. Uso then takes Rusev out with a suicide dive. When the show returns, we see Reed is attacking Uso. Uso gets away and punches him a few times. Uso kicks and uppercuts him before hitting his famous step-up enziguri, knocking Reed out of the ring. Sheamus gets in the ring, but Uso super kicks him too. Uso lays in 2 super kicks to Rusev before hitting the ropes, but Rusev clotheslines him down. At ringside, Reed and Sheamus are going at it. Sheamus sends him into the ring post before charging, but Reed gives him a back body drop into the crowd. Sheamus quickly rises and grabs Reed over the barricade for the 10 beats of the Badron, but keeps it going for 20 beats of the Badron. Uso super kicks Sheamus coming over the barricade. Reed charges Uso, but Uso sidesteps him, driving him into the barricade. Uso charges, but Rusev avalanches him at ringside. Rusev lets out a scream. Rusev enters the ring and squares off with Sheamus. Michael Cole had a fact that Sheamus has never beaten Rusev in a match. Rusev Day chant picks up. Rusev and Sheamus exchange heavy blows in the ring. Sheamus knocks Rusev back and sends him in the ropes. Rusev ducks a clothesline and connects with a spin kick. Rusev charges, but Sheamus boots him back. Rusev charges for a second time, but Sheamus hits him with a Will-to-War power slam. Rusev and Sheamus exchange blows from their knees. These are stiff shots that they're hitting each other with. Reed then runs over both of them, but Rusev and Sheamus continue to go at it, so Reed crushes him with an avalanche in the corner. Uso boots Reed back and leaps for a cross body block, but Reed catches him. Reed holds Uso up and hits a world's strongest slam. Uso grabs his injured ribs in pain. As the action continues, we see Rusev going for the accolade on Uso, who hangs in there. Braun Breaker interferes in the match. The commentators remind them that in a fatal 4-way, anything goes. Sami Zayn comes and interferes in the match to help, but gets launched over the commentary desk by Braun Breaker. Breaker turns around into a big senton from Penta, who appears out of nowhere from his dive over the ropes spot to take out Breaker. Back in the ring, Reed has Uso down and out. He heads to the top rope for a tsunami, but out of nowhere, LA Knight hits the ring and knocks Reed off the ropes. Uso hits a splash. Not satisfied, he goes for a spear and hits it. Then he hits the second splash for the 1, 2, 3. And your winner of the match is Jey Uso. Next, after the match, we have Seth freaking Rollins, Mr. Money in the Bank, dash to the ring. But codyrhodes is right behind him. So Seth backs off for some reason, thinking that this is not the right time to further damage main event Jey Uso. Then we see Cody Rhodes pick Jey Uso up to his feet and give him a handshake. They're all friends now, but next week in the King of the Ring semifinals, we have main event Jey Uso versus the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. That's in my hometown of Columbus, Ohio. And that is how Monday Night Raw ends. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful morning, noon, night, whatever it is for you. Take care, everybody. Peace.